Alright y'all, Lou Martinez here, Delaware Paddle Sports Kayak Fishing Team member and native Watercraft Pro staff, and I want to do a very quick follow-up to the video that I shot talking about my top 3 choices and recommendations for river smallmouth, which were for your top water column, your Whopper Plopper, preferably in a 90 or 130 range, which are the 2 that they offer. So the other one, which will cover your middle water column, is your Squarebill crankbait. And the third, which is going to cover the bottom portion, is going to be your Ned Rig with either the TRD or the hula grub. So let's get into them and let's talk about fishing them, rigging them, and just catching fish on them. So the Whopper Plopper. Now I've got 2 here. You got the 90 and the 130. Any color will work for the most part. Water clarity will help the fish see this and cue in on this, but I like white and also like black as well. In the loon color, this is the powder color. This one worked really well for me. In different clarity of water, it really didn't matter. So, you know, rigging, you're going to want to throw this on a medium heavy type outfit, whether it be a bait caster or spinning gear. I like a reel that's going to be 7 to 1 or higher, just in case you need to burn it and get it back to you. But you know, preferably something with a fast tip, nothing that's extra fast, because that just, you know, it's hard to fight the fish with those. You can do it, but these are my recommendations on how to do it. So presentation wise, I like to present this a little bit different than to just throw it out and drill it back or anything, or just throw it straight out and bring it back. I actually like to lob cast this. And so what I mean by that is just take your rod and just kind of throw that bait up high, because what will happen when you throw that bait up high, this is going to make a nice impact into the water. You know, this 130 and even this 90 has some decent weight to it. But that really, I'm telling you, when you did that, those fish are keying in on that. These fish, they're, you know, they need that loud presentation a lot of the time, because they're down there and, you know, something comes crashing down. It might scare the little ones, but, you know, a lot of the time the big ones are going to see that and key in on it and then wait. And so I like to lob cast that out. As soon as it hits, boom, pause, reel in a little bit of slack, and then make it spit. You know, make that tail kind of buzz and pop and spit, and generally when that happens, boom, that's when that strike comes. It's almost automatic when you do this. But they're looking, and that's just something that they're going to key in on and just look up and see automatically when it makes that loud entry into the water. Just something that I picked up on while out there fishing, that's the best way that I found to do it. So, but there are different types of techniques that you can use with drilling this thing back. You can make it spit, make it walk. You can burn it, pause, and then make it, you know, burn, pause, spit, and then burn it again. So, you know, just experiment with that. But a lot of the time, like I said, on that first initial fall, make it pop like that, make it spit, and they're gonna grab it. You can pretty much throw this anywhere, whether it be the rapids, whether you're fishing, you know, hitting the bank, hitting large expanses. That's the beauty of this bait. It covers a lot of water. And, you know, you really don't want to throw it at laydowns, but you can throw it around laydowns on the water. You don't want to get it hung up, because these treble hooks are going to grab everything they possibly can. So, other types of days that you're going to want to throw this: cloudy, of course, sunny, it's still going to work. Sunny and clear water, all day, every day right there. Clear and stained, go with the bigger one for stained water. The reason behind that is it's going to give off a little bit louder presentation, and that's going to allow those fish in the dirty water, and, you know, dirty water, rapids, water rushing by, planes, trains, automobiles all over the place, you know, that's going to allow them to cue in on that bait and find it. So that's the Whopper Plopper. Moving on to the next bait, which is the crankbait, Squarebill. So again, you're going to want to throw this on I like medium heavy. Medium will work. Fluorocarbon, anything less than 17 pounds, 20 pounds would just be way overkill. 17 pounds is probably overkill anyway, but if you're like me, you don't want to have to unstrip everything just because, you know, some pickerel or walleye might bite it off while you're out there fishing. But, you know, that I'd go with the 7-to-1 or lower gear ratio for this presentation, simply because it just helps kind of keep it down there. It's not just whipping by them super fast. Kind of a slow roll presentation. You know, probably 6.3 would work the best. That's what I have on my dial with Tatulas. Presentation with this again, you know, go ahead and throw that lob cast out there again, because that's going to make this entry grab their attention. Then just pretty much just reel it back. You know, yeah, you can experiment, you can pause it, all that kind of stuff, do all those kinds of things, blah blah blah. Just reel it back. Where you're gonna want to really throw this is in the large expanses between rapid systems. You know, maybe you hit some rapids a little bit further north and you're doing a float down. This is going to help you cover that area very effectively, very efficiently between the rapids and between when you get from one rapids to the other, and you're going to hook up with a ton more fish by doing so versus having something that you just throw out and you're kind of dragging because maybe you're floating, you're missing a lot of water, and this is just going to cover that middle water column and down to the bottom sometimes too, very effectively, very efficiently. You know, don't throw it around laydowns or you know, wood and stuff that's in the water. You're probably going to get hung up, and then you're going to have to paddle and try to get it. So, you know, so it's really great when there's no discernible targets like rapids. Rapids are on a river system, or just that target to where you know fish are going to be there. It's kind of like a big tree laydown. You know fish are going to be holding on to that wood or something. Well, smallmouth are going to be holding on to those rapids a lot of the time, waiting for that dinner to come down there, and that's when they're just going to gobble that stuff up. So I like doing that. So target large expanses of open water with this, just crossing, you know, float and just throw it straight out and cross. I mean, you can be in the river, middle of the river system, just doing that, just throwing it across, and you're going to hook up with a lot of fish doing it that way. So if pretty much all day, every day, whether it's clear water, stain water, again, loud. It's going to give off a presentation, something that's going to vibrate, something that they can pick up on, so that they can hone in on this bait. If it's clear, sunny day, you know, switch over to a spinnerbait. That's another really good presentation. I like spinnerbaits on when the sun is high. Get that blade flashing. You know, throw a gold blade in there. Throw a Colorado blade. Again, more vibration, giving them something to hone in on. And that's what's going to catch you fish in those large expanses between floating between rapids. So, and last but not least, the old Ned Rig. The Ned Rig is just, you know, it's not one of those things that you're going to want to throw on something that's super heavy. Stick with a light tackle outfit, like again what I've got back here, which is my medium to medium light. 20-pound braid to some type of fluorocarbon leader, preferably something under, you know, 17 pounds, 17 pound strength, which would be pretty overkill. But, you know, pair this Ned Rig Shrooms head, this Z-Man Shrooms head with either a TRD, the real deal, or a hula grub. These hula grubs work just as good. These things are gonna allow you to go through tons of fish, and that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna catch tons of fish. Matter of fact, I even put my mom on some smallmouth down on the Shenandoah with one of these guys and the Whopper Plopper. Caught her very first smallmouth fish on 2 of the baits that I'm talking to you right now, and these baits have pretty much won the tournaments up here this year. In these areas on the rivers, and I'm sure that goes for a lot of other river systems across the country. But, you know, these are, again, the lob cast is going to work well, but this isn't going to make such a good loud presentation in. But I tell you, man, all the little fish are going to grab onto this thing, and it's definitely what you want to do. You can kind of throw this one with this weed guard around, you know, little laydowns and stuff like that. I like to, once I get to the river, rapids, that's where I really like to present this lure. Like to throw it in there, let it drift down. It's one that'll float down, and I can kind of jig it a little while it's floating down. Didn't get hung up in the rocks all that much. I was really surprised that this presentation was not getting lodged in the rocks. That took me by surprise, really, when I started throwing this, especially with this somewhat exposed hook. You know, these stay on there pretty good. You have to fix it all the time, but you can get tons of fish on this versus some kind of Senko that you've either cut down, or a 4-inch Senko or something like that, which are going to tear up really quick because these fish are strong and they just don't quit. But you're not really going to be covering a lot of water with this, so use it as a presentation to where you're just picking at things. You're throwing at a rock, throwing at some rapids specifically, and that's going to be one of the better ways to fish this. Now, by all means, swim it if you want, but there are just better presentations for swimming and covering more water than this. This is going to work. This is going to work really killer in clear water. When that water clears up, that's where this is going to work the best. The dirtier water, it's going to work, but it's going to be harder to catch fish on. You're going to, but it really just shines in that cloud, in that just clear water. That fluorocarbon leader, you know, they snatch it up. So as far as, you know, sun and clouds go, this one I think just really depends on the water clarity more than anything else. But that's how you fish these guys, and that's my presentation on the top 3 river baits and how you want to fish them, rig them, and present them. So any questions, just post them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and y'all have a good one.